It was in the very beginning of December 1994. It was the moment when everybody understood that a war is going to break out in Chechnya, that the country is on the brink of a local civil war. And everyone understood that hardliners who are trying to get more control of the government, who are trying to get more influence on Russian president, on Boris Yeltsin, are behind all that. You know, it was a feeling that was just in the air that something is going to happen. And in the very beginning of December, just suddenly out of the blue, I think it was Friday, the very end of the week, Mr. Gusinsky was sort of attacked in the morning when he was driving from his country home outside of Moscow to his offices in the very center of it. He was pursued by two or three strange cars, and there were armed people inside it. They were chasing him all the way from his country home to his Moscow office, and no one understood who are those strange people, heavily armed, trying to stop his car. Somehow they escaped from the pursuers and immediately got in touch with local law enforcement agencies and reported this incident. Suddenly, we all found out that these strange armed people in cars without license plates were a group of special commando force from the Kremlin security.
Korzhakov's people?
Korzhakov's people from Korzhakov's presidential detail. They had a special squad, commando squad, and in a few hours they appeared by the entrance of Gusinsky's office, and he was that was the office of the Moscow mayor at the same time. He was just renting a floor in the multi-storied building of Moscow city government, and they sealed all the entrances, and they were, you know, in black balaclava masks, in huge bulletproof vests, heavily armed, with long, heavy rifles, dressed in heavy boots of army issue, and they started to put all the people who were on the street by the entrance, they started to put them down, their face down on the snow. And when they found out that these were somebody, every time they found that somebody was from Gusinsky's Media Most group, they started to kick. Well, they were mainly drivers, mainly drivers, and some of the bodyguards waiting for Gusinsky, for other people working for Media Most. It was not Media Most, well, sorry, it was just for Gusinsky and his office. There were drivers and bodyguards, no one else, and they started to kick them with those heavy boots. and they kept them lying down on the snow for many hours, and they were not allowing anyone out of the building or into the building. It was in the evening, and I had a few hours just to go and see one of the semi-final match of the Kremlin Cup tennis tournament, and Mayor Lushkov was sitting almost next to me in the VIP sector of the stadium, and I suddenly saw that one of his aides came to him and whispered something into his ear, and I noticed that his face has changed, and he immediately left, followed his aide to the exit, and I understood that something happened, something is going on, and I immediately called Igor Maloshenko, who was the head of NTV at the time, asking him what is going on. Has something happened? And he thought that I already know, and he sort of attacked me verbally, saying, well, why are you asking stupid questions? We are all sitting here, we are blocked, we can't go in or out. So where are you? What is going on? I don't know anything. And then he started to explain what has happened and say, look, better come here. Better come here. They are now telling me that there is a back entrance that you can use. And so we rushed to the mayor's building, and yes, the back door was open, so we sneaked through the back door into the building, and I said, and Maloshenko supported me, or Maloshenko said and I supported him, I don't know, but we, the journalists who were present there, we said that, look, immediately we should alert all the journalists that work in Moscow, Russian journalists and especially Western journalists, that they should know what is going on, what is happening. And we called for a press conference, which was gathered probably an hour, and then a big crowd of Russian and Western journalists, cameramen, gathered by the entrance, and they started to film and take pictures of those black balaclavad guys, and they soon left. And I think that if we did not alert the journalists of what was going on, and if we did not gather that press conference and speak out and tell the audience that this is a provocation staged up by the hardliners in the Kremlin, headed by Korzhakov, and the other guy was Mikhail Barsukov, then otherwise Gusinsky could have been arrested. Could have been arrested at some false charges. But he was made, Gusinsky was made to leave the country in a few days. Well, I can't be sure. Not at the same day, but probably in a day or two, he was forced out of the country and had to spend more than 6 months in an actual immigration.